It's basically when you take joy in seeing someone else fail.
Ah.
So like every episode of The Excellence.
Ah.
But
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pixel Primos video game podcast, where we talk about all the latest things in gaming, from pro Smash players to down to Smash cosplayers. Hey, I'm Juan Solo.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. And I am your boy Paco.
and I intend do what Sega won't. Wait, what? I'm JJ.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It has been a while. Life gets in the way, but who cares? We're
Indeed.
back. And while we were gone, we got some new subscribers. We got about 3 of them. So that puts us now, as of this recording, at 40 subscribers. So there we go.
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
As soon as we hit 50, I'm sending everybody beef jerky. That's 50.
All right, then. Anyway, since it has been a while, we did get a decent amount of comments. However, I do want to clear some things up.
Really?
I only addressed the comments of the previous show. So in this case, it's a Pixel Primos episode. This is our gaming one. So for all the new subscribers, Pixel Primos, all gaming, Alpha Primos is everything else. So with that said, in the beginning, I addressed the comments of like the previous episode. So this is a Pixel Primos. I'm going to address these ones, and then in the next alpha, I'll go back to the alpha. So don't think I didn't see the Halloween comments on our disturbing videos. I know they're there. We'll talk about them in the next one. All right, I haven't forgotten about you guys. Just hang tight. We'll get to you guys. Don't worry. Okay, so yes, we got 40 subs. And all right, so let's look at the comments from our last Pixel Primos, which was our spooky season special, where we talked about scary moments in non-scary games. We have a comment from Joe Jira.
Yes,
he says, quote, I was gonna say the flood from Halo, but JJ beat me to it. So instead, I'll mention the time I played that level in the cursed Halo mod and kept seeing everyone getting themselves killed with the backwards pistol. End quote. I am unfamiliar with the cursed Halo mod.
Yeah,
but
what is that?
Like, yeah,
it's
that
kind of like a randomizer. It's kind of like a randomizer. So I remember he was telling us about it when we were streaming Fun, which, by the way, follow Convict Joe's on Twitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember him bringing it up. My memory on it is a little fuzzy, but it basically randomizes like a bunch of shit in Halo. Like you play through the story normally, but everything. I guess like every interactable gets randomized. So like you might, instead of a warthog, find like a gun or something. I don't remember.
Okay, so I guess in this case it randomized so that all the soldiers, all the Marines, if you will, got that.
Or all the Flood were pistols instead of being the actual Flood models.
Wow, that's fucked.
Damn.
That's fucked up.
All right, I can see how that has the potential for some spooky outcomes.
Yeah, I can see the impact now. That's okay.
Yeah, most definitely. So, with that said, to our new viewers, our new subscribers, be sure to drop down some comments, and we'll get you all in the next Pixel Primos.
Let us know what you think.
But with that said, yeah, that'll do it for that topic. We can move on now. So, as of this recording, they just dropped the nominees for the Game Awards.
Okay.
Yep, they dropped
Long
them
live the
this.
Dorito Pope. Forever may he reign.
Yes, Jeff Keighley, the Doritos Pope.
Brought to you
but
by Mountain
but
Dew.
yes, yes. Oh shit! I should have had a Mountain Dew bottle at the ready. I have one in the fridge, but I'm not about to run over there. All right. So let me just pull up a handful of them. So for best performance, we got Ben Starr for Final Fantasy 16.
Okay.
Cameron Monaghan for Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
That's my pick.
Oh, all right. Then we got Idris Elba for Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Then we have, oh god, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, Melanie Liebert for Alan Wake 2. I believe she is the only woman nominated in this category. Next we have
Sexist.
Neil Newbon for Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm guessing he's the
And
rogue.
last
I don't,
but yeah, he's the rogue. He's the dude with the white hair. I'm blanking on his name. Is it Asterion?
yeah.
Or,
Yeah, there you go.
there you go. Yeah, that's him. And last but certainly not least, Yuri Lowenthal for Spider-Man
My
2.
boy, Peter Parker.
Yep, my boy. He'd probably be my pick. but
Uh, hmm. Well, from the ones listed, I think I've really only played Baldur's Gate, so I'd have to go with the
there you're going with Neil. It's all right. A lot of people are. When it was announced, I saw a lot of people going for either Ben Starr, Final Fantasy, or Neil Newbon. So it seems those two are the popular pick based on what I saw at Twitter when it was announced. Um,
Well, I think.
but yeah, so
Well,
there's, huh?
I was gonna say that I think maybe they probably had like the heavier uh acting job in terms of like actual recorded dialogue because they're both
Mm-hmm.
RPGs. So like
Yeah.
if you don't take said quest like or finish a quest this way instead of the other way or make a bad choice, make a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Spider-Man, I mean, kind of linear compared to.
Yeah, but the mocap for me is also a big part,
Oh, okay,
and
yeah,
that's
that's
and
fair.
that's Yuri.
Yeah,
That is
Yeah.
him. hmm
Yeah, I mean the mocap I think takes a what you want to call it is now a bigger part of it than just the voice acting like it used to
mm,
be. Now that there
hmm
is so much mocap in every game, so it does take into a big account all that. You can tell when somebody's kind of stiff,
yeah.
not so they could be them. Some I'm not gonna not gonna lie. Some of them may be really great voice actors, but then how's the mocap? And then again, you can always just use somebody else.
hmm
If
To
they're like, okay, they did the mocap, and absolutely not, he can't do it. But he portrays the character's voice and personality well.
to a
Yeah.
degree because
Yeah,
that Mars Needs Mom movie tried to do that and it didn't work.
man, I didn't even watch that movie. I just remember
No
it
one
was
did.
it was
Oh no, I saw the movie.
here's a
Not in
question.
theaters though. I saw it afterwards.
Here's a question though. Out
uh,
of all the categories, for me, the hardest one to like pick and choose is the best adaptations category. Do you see the nominees for that?
no.
I did not.
So the best adaptation nominees are Twisted Metal,
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
forgot.
okay. Uh-huh.
Castlevania Nocturne, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and The Last of Us.
Hmm.
Mm,
And like for me, like The only one I didn't see was Gran Turismo. I still haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't
But
watched
I
Gran
started
Okay.
Turismo.
watching Castlevania Nocturne, and Castlevania Nocturne is badass. Um, but I'm gonna either have to say, in my opinion, it's either gonna be a toss up between I think Twisted Metal and The Last of Us, but I think Last of Us is gonna win.
I would honestly give it to The Last of Us because
I I,
not
I
only
would too. Mhm.
not only was it faithful to the
Hmm.
actual like source material,
Yeah.
um, the points where they diverged made sense and
Hmm.
were also just like really good and kind of retroactively make the game better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, Twisted Metal it didn't
Was
really
it
like
faithful?
follow. Yeah, it didn't
Mhm.
really follow any of the game's storylines. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
it it's
It's
ultimately a preference choice, but like if I'm going to like try to logically like pick one,
Yeah.
I would have to take
mm,
points off for that.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment. Uh, I think you're right with Last of Us. It's pretty faithful. You're right where it diverges at. I really liked the storyline that they flushed out a little more with Ron Swanson with Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
I really
yeah.
thought that was a great episode. I liked because I'm a lore person. I love lore and I love listening to the stories. And I thought, man, that was a tearjerker.
Mhm.
Like for at least my opinion, that was a tearjerker. With Twisted Metal, yeah, you're right. They didn't really follow. They really didn't follow like the storyline or anything. But I mean, it's really hard to take that game and
Yeah.
adapt it faithfully. It's really
Yeah.
hard. It's going to be really weird. And I mean, they took the names and some characters. They did something different, and it just worked really well with what they were going for. Um, my favorite person still was Sweet Tooth. Dude, did that shit was his character did just what they did with him was great. Um, Gran Turismo, I didn't see, but it's a racing game. It's a racing movie. I'm sure it was good racing action. I'm a car guy, so for
Mhm.
me it would have been, oh, that was really cool. Super Mario Brothers, the nostalgia, I thought it was fun. It's great. I can watch it multiple times. I can have it on in the background. And Castlevania Nocturne, I just started watching it, and I'm just having a good time with it. It's a great anime to me.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Mhm.
The thing with
But I don't know much
Nocturne,
about Castlevania, so
well, yeah, that's
really,
that's kind of the thing with Nocturne too, is that it's not really adapting one of the games. It's kind of making its own backstory for the games.
Yeah. I think you had a point earlier, Jay, when you said that like The Last of Us is the only one that was like faithfully adapted because yeah, the
Mhm.
rest of the picks, it's not like they picked a specific game, stuck to the
Yeah.
storyline of that and recorded that. It's no, they just took a bunch of games and then adapted it into its own like storyline. Um and I do think, yeah, in terms of well, which one is most faithful? I guess it's
hmm
technically Last of Us based on that
yeah.
on that train of thought. Whereas I think even Gran Turismo, they just took a real life event and then just did a
Dramatize it.
movie on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, they
It's
did.
more of a
yeah, of
biopic
course,
than it
it's
is
Yeah,
just
a
not like a
video game movie.
documentary. It's not. Yeah, then hmm exactly. But But no, yeah, that's an interesting category. I'm glad they created that one. But yeah, I think
yeah.
I would also stick with Last of Us for that one.
And I also think that that's
All
going to be
right.
a pretty steady category from now on,
Mhm.
just because they're adapting so many games, and
Mhm.
Hollywood's just pulling from everywhere: comic books, real life, and now video games. Because video games have become so much more mainstream and more accepted than they ever have been in the past. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think that's just going to be a category that we're just going to have from
Yeah.
now on. I'm sure the rules will change when it comes to adaptation. You know, I'm sure the rules will change, or they'll be like, oh, there'll be people like, oh, it's not really faithfully adapted, but whatever. They'll be, I forget the term that they use. Very broad
Mhm.
strokes
Definitely.
with what they
Right.
mean.
And just to wrap up the Game Award nominees, let me mention the Game of the Year ones, and then we'll move on to our main topic. But yeah, the Game of the Year, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, it's here are the nominees. It's Alan Wake 2,
Hmm.
Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil
Yeah,
4, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really stacked category right now.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
sad category. I've only played one of those, and I didn't even get to play it all that much. But it was Tears of the Kingdom. Everything else I've just watched basically streamers and gameplay videos because well, I can't play them right now.
Mm.
But after just watching all of it, uh, I want to. My opinion is going to have to be Spider Man. It's just it looks like so much fun, and there's so much in it. And I think a close second for me would be Baldur's Gate, and then Tears of the Kingdom, because Tears of the Kingdom is the only one that I played. I'm still not done with Breath of the Wild, so uh,
You're never done with Breath of the Wild. You just come back to
I'm
it.
gonna finish it.
I have
Fuck
to
the
finish the story.
hell with the Lionels, by the way. Fuck those. Hate those things. God, they're so damn difficult. Either that, or I'm just a shitty gamer. I'm probably just a shitty gamer. Let's be real.
Once you get their timing down on like when to dodge and what to dodge,
Uh huh.
they're still hard as fuck, but like they get a little
Yeah.
easier. They're not an unclimbable mountain.
Yeah, I've seen I watched a couple of tutorials, and I'm like, I gotta beat this guy, this zebra looking motherfucker, and I'm like, damn, even this is having
Oh
a
wait,
hard
was
time.
that a silver? Were you fighting a fucking silver one?
Yeah, yeah, I'm funny. I was fighting a silver one. Yeah, I was fighting a silver one. Is that are there more? Like, I've
There's
been exploring, but the only one I've encountered so far is a silver one. But then from the gameplay videos, apparently there's a red one that's pretty early on, like
yeah.
in one of the areas that you're at, and I just haven't been to that area yet. I just keep going everywhere else
The
because I'm
red one
like,
is
ooh, shiny thing, and I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
well, I'm all over the place.
The red one is base form.
Oh Jesus!
The silver ones are like
Is the
a
silver one the
little
Super Saiyan? Is
kind
he
of
SS3?
it's a little tougher than a regular than a red one, and then there's I
Uh,
think a gold one too, or like maybe another color. But
I think there's a blue one.
there you go,
I
blue.
think there's a blue, a
Blue
red.
is like blue is the toughest. Blue is the
Oh,
motherfucker.
fuck, dude.
Or
I'm gonna have
maybe
a
I have
hard
them
time.
backwards. Maybe silver's the toughest. I don't remember. But like, yeah, start with the red one, bro.
All right, I'm gonna go back. Let's start with the red. Still
Because
getting
yeah,
my
I've
clap to it.
I encountered a silver one first, but it's because I was trying to find all the pictures for Zelda's memory,
Uh huh.
and one of them is like pretty much guarded by a silver
By
Lionel.
silver. Yeah, that's
So
the one that I'm
I
finding. It's like you got to find a sword or something else in the snow. I think that's one of the pictures you have to take.
okay, yeah, it might be that one, but uh, yeah, like I said, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna actually do like a temple or something, get the fuck, and then I'll come back to this one. Um, right. So my pick out of those, as ashamed as I am to say it, I have not had a chance to play Spider-Man 2. I had well, I was moving, and then you guys were here, and then I mean it's not y'all's fault. Where'd Juan go? Okay. Yeah. So between just life, uh, moving, and getting you guys hanging out with you guys and everyone else, it was just I have not had a chance to really just deep throat those 19 inches of venom. Just get way up in there. um,
Well, look, Venom is like a symbiote, so it's like already pre-lubed. So you're good to go, man. You don't have to buy lube or anything. He's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Pull
we'll
out that
just
tongue.
slide on in. Just
Oh.
uh, no, but so from those, I think my pick would actually be Tears of the Kingdom, just because it's more my style of game. I like Baldur's Gate 3, but I also like games that where like A is jump, right? Right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
simple.
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. Even though I don't think A is jump in Tears of the Kingdom, not by
No.
default anyway, but like you know what I mean. Baldur's Gate is more sorry, I had popcorn. I was eating the popcorn. Um Not the 19 inches of venom.
uh,
The
just a preview.
just warming up. uh um it's just, yeah, it's a little more while Tears of the Kingdom also has its own complex mechanics, and you can
Yeah.
build fucking B-52 bombers and shit. uh it's more like simple, like you move Link and there's no tactical menu, there's no turn-based menu, there's no
Yeah.
dice rolls and like spell slots that you have to memorize. It's just like, yeah, glue some fire to some boulders and you'll have a flaming dick sword. Like
Or
it's
something.
simple, rustic, in the words of Gordon Ramsay.
It's pure fun. It's
So yeah,
pure fun.
that would be my choice, I think, out of those.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. I guess for me, out of this list, oh man, I want to give it to Tears
Tears.
because the things that it does is just amazing, especially the whole like you said, crafting stuff, sticking stuff together, you name it, like
Mm,
all of that is like really really impressive.
Hmm.
So I think, yeah, I'm gonna give it to Tears just on that. I I would say that like a runner up for sure has to be Baldur's Gate 3 though, especially because if I'm not mistaken, that's an independent studio. So for them to
Larian.
do, yeah, that amount of work, that amount of choice, that amount of you name it, with a small team, like shit, that's nothing to scoff at. But I think
Yeah, no.
that there's an argument to be made that they could probably get best game direction
Or
because of
studio.
how they
Like,
managed all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
studio's not a
Um.
category, but if it was like,
Mm-hmm.
if there was a studio of the year and it was just based on games and not any shady
Mm-hmm.
practices that they may or may not do. I don't know what the work culture at Larian is. I hope it's good.
Right.
But,
I
but
would
based
assume it
purely,
is.
yeah, I think so. I don't remember hearing any like gotcha.
You know why I would assume it probably is because if I'm not mistaken, I think when Baldur's Gate 3 came out, there was like a handful of like other like devs trying to
Yeah,
shit on
trying
them,
to
saying like, "Don't
don't go
expect
expecting this
other
shit from us.
games like this. Don't go," and stuff like that. And I remember like employees of Larian actually went out of their way to defend
Right.
themselves. And likewise, I remember someone said like, well, of course it's easy for them to make a good game. They have the money and the resources to buy the IP of Dungeons and Dragons. And one of the employees like stepped up and went, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not how it works. It's a
Yeah.
license, you
Yeah.
know? So I think for them to come forward and actually like defend themselves, I think it's safe to say they like working there.
Yeah.
Because I think if they hated it, they would have just like probably stayed quiet or something. But I don't know. I think it's fair. Like we can assume that they're doing okay, and yeah, we'll see how this turns out when the Game Awards go live on December 7th. Maybe we'll even do a reaction episode after the fact, not live.
Yeah,
Unless
There
you guys want to
is
see that.
let's do that
there,
so I can
yeah.
make another thumbnail where I steal Jeff Keighley's hard work.
Oh yeah, we'll do. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I like those because those thumbnails are easy. Like the hard work is already done.
Yeah, or because it's like if we don't got shit in December 7th, maybe we can even do like a live reaction to it. Don't no promises though.
There is one thing I will say that is a travesty amongst the game awards, because there are a few games that are missing. Now I haven't been able to play a lot lately, but I will tell you one game that needs to be on this list that is not on this list, and that game is Gollum. That game right there, all that hard work. I like, dude.
Really?
Who,
Gollum
dude?
over
Who
Skull Island?
Gollum over Skull Island. You know why? Because I am a stealth aficionado. Who would have thought I would have been able to have a Tom Clancy style stealth game in Middle Earth? I never expected that, okay? And Gollum gave me that, okay? And I am angry that it's not in these game awards, for just for pure, what's the word? For pure ingenuity, all right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And by the way, I'm
I
just kidding. That game was fucking terrible.
I I I would nominate Gollum for something. I mean, it did entertain me in the sense that like I got a lot of Schadenfreude or whatever that German word is for shameful joy, where you're just like where you're just
You know what?
like
That's the new name of the podcast, Shaman Feud.
Shaman Schadenfreude.
Shameful joy is what we do around here.
Schadenfreude, I think.
Shaman Feud.
It's basically when you take joy in seeing someone else fail.
Ah,
So like
Mm.
every episode of The Excellence.
ah. but somebody
uh,
clip that, guys. Clip that. Clip that. And then at the end of it, just put a picture of Sam.
Juan's already clipping it. I can see the gears turning.
He's always talking about. I've already uploaded it. It's on our TikTok.
It, yeah, I think. Yeah, I think you can. Anybody who's willing to scroll back in the last episode, you'll see me. I'm taking notes as we record these, and it's to make the editing process a lot
Yeah,
easier
easy.
to go back to these clips. So yeah, you ever see me like looking down? It's because I'm taking notes.
But yeah, like no shade to like anyone who worked on Gollum, but
Yeah, of course not.
there's always like that human element where it's like you see a car crash and you're just like what the hell happened, and that's what Gollum was to me. That was it was a fucking 5 car pileup that I was just happened to be driving past and I was like I
hmm
need to know more.
Yeah, like I guess yeah. You just hit with like how does stuff like this still happen in like the modern age, like in this
Mm.
day and age in particular, especially
Be-
all things considered. For me it was like, man, like it's Lord of the Rings, so that's like a
right.
Warner Brothers
Yeah.
intellectual property. So it's like, how did they lend out the IP,
To an
and
unproven
then
studio.
like, yeah, and then they let this like get this bad, that to
No,
me is like the like, yeah.
and not
I
just for
think
Gollum, they had other games planned. They were going to
hmm
make more.
I think on that point that just comes down to management. At that point, I think it
Fucking
really
David
is like
Zaslav.
yeah, like I don't think I don't think it's necessarily like you know completely like the people who worked on it's like fault. They're doing their job. They're trying. I think there's just management at that point. How did
Mm-hmm.
an unproven studio? Maybe they're just like had that thought like, hey, fuck it, let's see what happens. There's been other unproven studios that have put out great things or done great things, and I think that's just the roll of the dice they decided to do, and they rolled a one basically.
Yep.
Bringing it back to Baldur's Gate, baby.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. It's like Walter's Gate. We're gonna recreate that fire, baby. We're gonna recreate that spark. And they just rolled a one. That's all it was. And then again, it comes down, I think, to management. They have that manager that's he's greasing them up and talking them up real good the whole time he's turning around. You can do this, right? Right? Like you guys are on track, right? And the guy's like, yeah, we're good, yeah. And having no idea what's going on, communicate. That's what I think it comes down to, at least in my opinion. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I think it is, because there are great things out there, and sometimes it boils down to communication and management. You have
Mm.
great people, great players, great things, and then bam, it just all falls apart. And maybe they were a little too ambitious too. They're like, oh shit, we're gonna put out Gollum, and now we got all these fucking plans. We're gonna do this, and it's like, well, pump the brakes there, cowboy. You might want to finish this one first, and then we'll think about the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Um,
that's what I think.
but all right, and I guess we can use that to pivot to our main discussion, which is
Yes,
all right. We already talked about the Game Awards
Mm.
top
yes.
games. Now let's jump into what are our personal top games for the year
And
2023.
and disclaimer: these are what our opinions are of what we played that we think for us are great. Yeah, they may not be in the Game Awards, but this is what we played this year and what we think is our top three for the
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm.
Exactly. So let us know what you guys think were your top games for this year. And
Sorry if
another
I'm
thing that
fuzzy. I'm trying to fix it.
uh, and another thing we also want to do to try to be a little different is we don't want to just list our top games of this year. We're gonna do that, but also if there's time, we also want to talk about other games that we played this year that we also really like. So basically, older games that we barely got a chance to play that are still in our top games for this year. So that's what I want to hear from you guys. What are the top games you guys played that came out this year, and also what's just the game you played the most this year? It does that wasn't current. It could be a game from last year, or shoot, it could even be something really old from back in the day. It could be a Nintendo game, be it that you just bought an old console you're replaying. Just let me know. We want to know. We're very curious about what you guys are playing.
All right, who
but
wants to go first?
I mean, I could start it off.
Yeah, yeah. Start it off, Juan.
All right.
Yeah.
I kind of already talked a little bit about Tears of the Kingdom, so I guess I can just pick up from there just to go a little more in depth on it because yeah, um, Tears of the Kingdom will definitely be in my top list. Mainly because just I mean it's Zelda. It's those
Right.
games are almost always a hit.
Yeah,
It's they. I don't think there's ever been like a miss as far as like the mainline series goes. They're all like pretty good. They may not be the
yeah,
best one, but they're still good. And I do think this one is definitely in the good category, at least in my personal opinion. I do think in terms of sequels go, like I mean, yeah, it doesn't stray too far from its predecessor, the Breath of the
yeah,
Wild. So I think it's fair to say if you hated Breath of the Wild, you're gonna hate this one as well. um, but I mean, me like yeah, I like the crafting mechanic. I thought that was such a clever thing there is no one way to solve a puzzle. It's, however you
Mm.
get there, that's the solution, And likewise, the creativity of some people online, building tanks and Gundams, shit that I can't do, but
Bring
it's
freedom to
really
Hyrule.
impressive and really hilarious to see. So, and yeah, just like these guys, I haven't finished it because there was another game that came out that took over my life, but I'll talk about that later. One of you guys take it up.
All right. Well, uh, I'm Tears of the Kingdom would also make my list, but just for the sake of difference, just for the sake of variety, and so that we're not all just hyping up uh, Tears of the Kingdom.
Slapping on 19 inches of that Hyrule sword.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in terms of like releases from this year, the other one of the other ones on my list has got to be Resident Evil 4 remake.
Ooh.
Like
Yeah.
I spent so much time just trying to win a fucking keychain. Just doing all those goddamn shooting galleries.
Yeah. God damn it.
Like I still haven't done them all. Like I don't have S rank on all of them, and I don't know if
Mhm.
I ever will. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it in terms of this is what like I wish more video game remakes were like because
Mm-hmm.
it took what was already there and just improved upon it. It didn't just glow up the
Mm-hmm.
graphics. It was
Yeah.
like, well, how can we spice up gameplay a little bit? How about we make it so like you can counter with your knife, only it's like active, like you have to actually be able to time it.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
about we, you know, make the knife breakable now?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a trade off. It's like, do you risk blocking it or do you not? Like, or do you stab someone with the knife? But then what if you needed to block a chainsaw? Like, like
Mm-hmm.
what are you gonna do? Just a lot of little fun tweaks and that added depth to it, and somehow made like an almost perfect game even better. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
that
They
would
they
be
definitely did. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It.
That's the one that I would, yeah, not picking it over Tears of the Kingdom, but since we already talked about Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah.
that's the one
It's.
that I want to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. I think it's fair to say Capcom's kind of paving the way on like this is how you remake a game because they did it
Mm,
with Resident Evil 2 and now they're doing it
one,
with Resident Evil 4. Yeah, 1 also as well on the PlayStation and was yeah, it was on 360 and PS3 and all that stuff.
yeah, it was
Um
on GameCube, I think.
yes, it was on GameCube. Uh and yeah, they're really just paving the way on it in that you don't, I guess to use an old expression, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You keep
Mm.
what's good, and then you just, I don't even say you tweak it, you just modernize everything else.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Because that was the big thing with Resident Evil 4 remake. They modernized the controls for today's standards. And I really do think it's really just that, just keep what was good about the original, and then just improve and tweak everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paco.
All right. So my pick is going to be pretty basic because I am a basic. And it's not gonna. I only got to play a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom would be on my list, but I'm not gonna put it on my list. But my pick right now is for my third choice is going to be Modern Warfare 3. And the
Okay.
reason it's Modern Warfare 3 is, yeah, I know everybody's like, oh, Modern Warfare 3 does bullshit. I like this new game mechanic they've put in it. So now you have what they call open combat missions. So some of them, so because I personally like the campaign more than I like the multiplayers, just because I suck. But in the campaign, certain campaigns are going to be what they call open combat. So you're going to drop into this mission, and you can play it any way you want. If you want to go all stealth, you can do all stealth. If you want to go loud and just say "fuck it," I'm going to go in with akimbo and start blasting, Danny DeVito style, then you can do that. Or you can find a vehicle and just start running people over. Like it's your choice of how you want to play specific missions, and that is something that well, at least I mean, I haven't seen it in a lot of other games. I think there's a few other games that do it, but this one I like the way it does it. When you drop your mini map, you have to explore, and you'll find all kinds of different weapons. So you can find all the weapons you want. You're gonna find silenced weapons. You're gonna find your long range weapons if you just want to sit in a tower and snipe the shit out of everybody. You're gonna find rocket launchers if you just want to go around blowing shit up. And so that's why that's my pick for my third one. And of course, they've brought up a bunch of old maps, remastered them, made them new, and it gives you that little bit of nostalgia in the multiplayer version of it. And then the new thing that they've added is an open world zombies. And I've always enjoyed the zombie modes of all of the Call of Duty games. And this one is kind of an open world. So you go into the Warzone map and you're fighting zombies. I haven't got to play a lot of it yet. So for those that have gotten to play, it's basically DMZ with zombies. At least that's what I've gathered from it so far. I haven't got to really explore it, but that's my pick. And everybody was really I know there's a lot of people saying out there, "Oh, it's just a $70 DLC," and but if you really take that into account, then basically every Call of Duty is a $70 DLC. If you really think, if you're gonna say, like, you really think about it, every Call of Duty is a $70 DLC.
I mean, since Warzone, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, since Warzone, it's basically everything's been a $70 DLC, but every game's had its things to offer. They haven't been executed the best, but when they decided they were gonna kind of restart everything with Modern Warfare, like again, that's when it really started to oh, okay, this isn't bad. This is actually pretty good. I like what they've done. They've changed the story a little bit. A couple of new characters. Oh, it's good. It's not bad. But like I said, I like the campaign more so than I like the multiplayers on it. I only like the multiplayers like when I play with our other family members. It's because they make it fun with all the smack we talk. But I mean, it's the campaign isn't bad. And what I did like what they did with hopefully they have it in Modern Warfare 3 like they had with Modern Warfare 2 was they have these raid missions. Those are like extra campaigns, but you need 3 people. You can't play it by yourself. You have to have a team of 3 to solve certain puzzles and do certain things. You have to have 2 partners with you. So that's what I enjoyed about this one. So hopefully they'll have raids in all the different seasons that they release for Modern Warfare 3. But that's my third pick for what we played so far. Quan?
All right, so this is the game that made me stop playing Tears of the Kingdom. This is the game that was video game cocaine to me. Ooh. It just had its hooks in me. And I could not put this. Go. This is the game that proves that video game addiction is real and it's a thing and it can happen to you.
Heroin Hero?
Close. Pikmin 4.
Oh my god.
I fucking love that game. I cannot stress that enough. This game, it made me put down Tears of the Kingdom. And then I was just playing Pikmin. And it's I couldn't go back to Tears of the Kingdom because I had to keep playing Pikmin. It's I would go to work and come home just so I could play Pikmin. I would go out and watch a movie. And the whole time I was in that movie theater, I'm thinking, God, I can't wait till I get back home and play Pikmin. I would be having sex. And immediately afterwards, I wouldn't reach for the cigarettes. I would reach for the Switch and I would go back to playing Pikmin. And that's what I would do.
So you were shooting out little Pikmin soldiers too.
Hell yeah. They were pushing my ass.
You got there. You got there. You got this, good guy.
Yeah, definitely. And so that's what that game was to me. I love that I'm just stressing all this without even talking about the actual fucking game.
Yeah.
For those of
like,
you,
I'm gonna play Pikmin now. Like this, now.
you should. You really should. Those games are a lot of fun. I regret that I didn't play these when I had a GameCube. I only played the third one when I got a Wii U because that was the only game out at the time. And I played it and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like one of the best games ever." I had so much fun playing it. And then they released Pikmin 1 and 2 on the Switch. So I played the crap out of those in lead up to Pikmin 4. And yeah, I loved them. I thought they were a lot of fun. And then here comes 4. And 4 is just like they took Pikmin 2 and then just fed it a bunch of protein and just bulked the shit out of it. And then they
Give a scoop of
released this
creatine.
out into the public. And it's like, oh my god, this is a game right here. And again, I haven't even talked about it. Okay, so for those who don't know what it is, it's basically you just command these little guys, these little Pikmin, and you have them, you command them, they do your bidding. So the main objective is you're trying to collect a certain amount of stuff within a time limit. Part 4, there really isn't a time limit except for certain levels, but they're just don't just you're collecting stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes there's a time limit, so you have a certain amount of time to get a certain amount of stuff. Some of the enemies, there's enemies that are protecting some of the stuff you need to collect. So again, the Pikmin do your bidding. You send them out into battle, and you want to protect your Pikmin. You will feel like a miserable asshole if you let one of these little creatures die. So you want to try to protect as many of them as you can, and that's where part of the challenge is. You know, doing all this stuff, going out into dangerous territory while keeping them safe. And the thing with Pikmin 4 that made it so hard to put down is that there's a lot of like sub quests in this one. In all the other ones, it was very linear. It's get the stuff so you can advance and you can move on. In this one, it's like, okay, here's the main thing you got to do, but here's all this extra stuff. But the extra stuff is fun to do. You want to do them because there's challenges, there's puzzles, and it's like, you want to go back, you want to do it and stuff. And um, without spoiling it too much, Video Game Donkey hit the nail on the head when he talked about this game. And he said, you will play Pikmin 4. You will hit the end credits. And then after the credits, that's when the real game begins. That is not an exaggeration, my friend. Yes. In Pikmin 4, you will play it. You will hit the end credits. And I do mean the end credits. But that's when the real game starts.
Oh God.
That's all I will say. That's all I will say. But I do mean it when I say if you like kind of like these real time strategy like esque puzzle games, you want to like use your brain for a little bit. Give these games a shot. You don't have to start with part 1. You can play Pikmin 3. You can play Pikmin 4. Doesn't matter. Just know that the newer ones do have a lot of mechanics, a lot of quality of life improvements that the original ones don't. So if you don't mind doing that when you go to the original ones, you can start with 3 or you can start with 4. But yeah, there you go. So
So
that's also in my top for this year. Oh, just thinking about it, it's like, man, you get any more Pikmin?
so Pikmin is just slavery in video game form. That's what you're saying. Pikmin is slavery in video game form. That's all it is. So,
No, Paco, Pikmin aren't people.
oh my god, they're not people.
uh,
Nobody cares about Pikmin. All right, that's an awkward tangent. All
Yep. Right, Jay, you're next.
right, JJ.
oh, all right. So for me, it's the probably the one that came the closest to being my Pikmin 4 uh is probably Baldur's Gate 3.
Hmm. Okay.
And it's just so, growing up in Eagle Pass, small town, not too many people like into the nerd shit. I've always been curious about D&D and I've always wanted to play D&D, but like there was no D&D groups that I was aware of in Eagle Pass. We didn't really have like a comic shop or a gathering spot for nerds. There was no beacon that summoned them. So, uh I actually played Divinity Original Sin 2, which was another game made by the same studio that was kind of like D&D light. Like it was the precursor to Baldur's Gate 3. Like if you look at it, they were already doing some stuff that uh they would start to implement in Baldur's Gate 3. So it was just finally I get to live out this fantasy and no one else has to be around. Like I don't have to bully Frank into being a dungeon master so that I can so that I can be Ramboku, the warrior monk who who charges into battle and into hopefully Carlock's panties. And like I haven't really made it all too far in it because it's one of those games where it's like uh, I must dedicate all my attention to it. I shan't waste an ounce of brain power on whatever podcast or like fucking Iron Maiden album I listen to in the background like I do with when I play like Fortnite or something, right? Like Fortnite doesn't require very much of my brain power.
Hmm.
I can listen to Joe Rogan rant about fucking DMT and how like I don't know what something Joe Rogan rants about how the election was rigged. I don't even think he's an election denier, but but with Baldur's Gate, it's like no, I must know what do these people want? What choice do I make? How how do I get the hot devil lady to sleep with me? And it's just been a lot of fun. So that is another game that I would wholeheartedly put on my list.
Yeah, same. It's. I would even recommend it to like, even if you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, you don't like Dungeons and Dragons. I would still say give it a shot. Like there's something in there that you might enjoy from it, and you don't have to know how to play Dungeons and Dragons to play this because certainly I don't know much about it. But it helps, right? But no, yeah, it's a great game. It's fantastic, and that is one that yeah, you're just like, oh, one more turn.
Well,
Yeah.
my next pick is not cocaine. I haven't been addicted to anything. So but my pick, going back to Zelda, my pick is Breath of the Wild. That's what I've been playing. It's the first game I've gotten for the Switch when I got the Switch, and that's what I've been playing. And I mean, it is kind of addicting because it's hard to stop sometimes. And I like the exploration. I like all the little cool new game mechanics. Like all the characters. So for me, it's going to be Breath of the Wild. And there's not really much else I can say because everything's been said about it. It's such a I'm sorry, it's such a good game. It's simple, easy to pick up and play, and it's got more than enough for you, and it doesn't get super repetitive. I think that's an issue that a lot of these games have is that they get super repetitive. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some things where I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to do that again. But for the most part, it's
Yeah,
pretty
like when it
entertaining.
rains and you have to climb shit.
Yeah,
Mm.
God, I hate that so much. And then I get electrocuted because I forget I have a fucking metal shield on. And I'm just running, trying to get to cover, and bust cover, get
Yeah.
struck by lightning. But yeah, that's gonna be my pick. Now I'm gonna have to start playing Pikmin because I'm not gonna, so if you added Pikmin into Zelda, game over.
Right. I mean, there's kind of Pikmin in Zelda. The Koroks kind of look like
The
Pikmin.
Koroks. Yeah, the Koroks. I just
Yeah,
like their little voices. Yay!
yeah, that'll be the next update. All right. I think we got time for one more pick each. So
Okay.
I will wrap things up on my end with Spider-Man 2.
The deuce.
Okay.
Yes.
Spider-Man.
It's fair to say, I believe last time I checked, I'm at about 75% complete with the game. So it's fair to say I'm close to finishing it. And honestly, this is one of those games that like you play for the story more
Mm-hmm.
than anything else.
Yeah.
This particular iteration of Spider-Man was just so well written that it's great. It's almost like a master class in this is how you tell a superhero story in terms of writing. Um, and Spider-Man 2 is a very safe sequel in
Uh-huh.
that it doesn't stray that far from 1. It's almost in the same vein of like uh Tears of the Kingdom in that they just looked at what was good about 1, what are things we can improve, what are things we can add, and then likewise they took the complaints of the first game and they're like, okay, let's either get rid of it or let's just tweak it to make it better. And you you see that a lot in this one. I will admit though, to me, it's not perfect, and I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10 game, but
Mm-hmm.
it is most definitely a 9.
Okay.
Um, but
19 inches.
yeah, yes, 19. That's such a great thing, and it was done almost by fucking. It was done by accident, you know. Like I don't think they meant for it to take off the way it did, but it's just so funny that it
Give that person a
has.
raise.
Yeah.
He is now
But
the head of
yeah,
marketing.
but um,
Wasn't even a marketing guy. It was just some tester. It was just a beta tester who came with it.
um, but again, I haven't finished the game, but I like where it's going. And Spider-Man 1 had really kick-ass DLC, so I'm really hoping this one also has some badass DLC that introduces some new stuff. That'll make it a lot better. I will say, in the grand scope of video game, like superhero video games, uh, it's definitely in the top. I want to wait till I finish it before I officially like decide. But I will say, like, my number one is probably like Batman Arkham City. That's the second one,
Mm.
and Spider Man Two right now is underneath it. But let's see if when I finish it, if it surpasses it. But right now, that's currently where I am in the grand scope of like superhero games.
Do you think
But
it'll?
yeah,
Do you think it'll
but yeah.
surpass Superman 64?
Oh, that's gonna be tough, man.
That's a tough one, man. That's a
That's
tough
a
one.
tough one
It might be able
because
to if Spider-Man can fly through the rings
To the
to
rings.
mhm,
if
yeah.
he
I
can
really hope in the
navigate them.
DLC they add rings. Somebody listens to this and they're like, "We're adding rings."
Oh, they just
we're
might.
adding
They just might.
we're adding rings and venom fog. So
19 inches of venom pop.
All right, well, Jay,
uh,
All
what's your
right,
final pick?
my final pick, and this one it's kind of a crossover because it technically did not come out this year, but it also kind of did. It's Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm, okay,
Oh,
I'm glad you brought it
So
okay,
up.
that's a good choice.
I don't have Phantom Liberty, so I haven't played Phantom Liberty
Mhm.
the DLC, but
Mhm.
with Phantom Liberty came the 2.0 patch, or
Yes.
it was a
Yeah,
major
2.0.
patch 2.0 for
Yep.
Cyberpunk 2077, and it completely revamps everything about it. Like,
Mm.
are there still bugs? Sure, but is it as bad as it was in launch? Absolutely not. The perks are meaningful. The the cyberware systems also improved, so like now your armor is tied to your cyberware and not to your clothes, so you can dress your character the way you want,
Mhm.
without like losing your armor rating or anything. The I've been having just a lot of fun exploring the perk tree because
Mm.
now like those skills can actually make a difference and can make you like rethink the way you might want to play. Right? I normally go for like a stealth build, but I'm looking at some of like the uh vehicle combat ones, and I'm like, hang on now, like maybe I can be a tank on the streets and 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 a ninja in the sheets, like maybe I can get both. But like it's a completely different game and different experience. This is really what Cyberpunk should have launched as.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a shame it didn't, but I'm glad it finally got there, and hopefully it brings more people back. Like I was always like hopeful that it would get to this point, but like let's be real, not every game does. It's actually kind of rare for a game to get to this point, to get to the
Mhm.
like redemption arc. So to see it happen with Cyberpunk is really great. And if you haven't checked out the 2.0 update, you don't need to pay for it. You don't need to buy Phantom Liberty. You can, if you already have Cyberpunk and you didn't return it or didn't like sell it, you can download it. You can, pop it in if you have it on console and download the update, and you're good to go.
Oh,
Mhm.
might
Yeah,
have to
I'm
get
glad
that.
you brought it up because that would have been my pick for like the games that top games that we played this year, but
Mm.
because yeah, that was me with Cyberpunk. I bought it when it came out and I finished it, even though it was a really buggy mess. I powered through it, and so now with this update, I did jump back and I played it again, but this time I played it on console because I originally bought it on the PC, but then I started playing it on the PS5, and ooh, it runs so smooth. So yeah, definitely check it out if you got the time for it because it's an RPG. So
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah.
commitment,
you gotta grind.
but yeah, but no, yeah, it's fun.
Another game that had somewhat of a redemption arc, not as good as Cyberpunk's, was No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
older. That one had a pretty decent redemption arc. Not as good as Cyberpunk, but it had a redemption arc. So my final pick or my top pick is actually three games that were rolled into one, and they're actually both the first two are actually a few years old. And my pick is going to be Hitman: World of Assassination.
Oh.
Hitman World
Okay.
because I've always been, well, I'm not gonna say always. I discovered Hitman probably around like PS4. Yeah, PS4 when I got into a Hitman game, and I'm a sucker for stealth games. I love stealth games. Explains why I like Gollum. Anyway, but I I really enjoy the Hitman games, and this one they give you about like 21 maps in total. So if you never played it, you didn't play Hitman One, Hitman Two, or anything like that. You get Hitman World of Assassination, and it gives you all these maps. And the reason I it was my pick was because I like the replayability of it. There is a
Right.
ton of replayability in it because there are so many ways to kill your target. There's not it's not an infinite, but there are so many ways, so many different weapons, so many different methods. And even after you finish it the first time, you can always go and do it again, and you can use some kind of one of those silly like, oh, you killed him, you choked him out, and then the second time you shot him in the back of the head. The third time you dropped a piano on him, or he walked in the
Kind of
water.
wily coyote shit are you doing?
Yeah, you
Agent
can do
Yeah.
all
47.
there's like modes where like if and I had some of these I didn't know. Like I ended up just figuring some of them I figured out, and then a few others I just watched a few gameplay videos. I was like, you can do that? Oh, dude, I'm good. I know I forget which map it is, but there's a map where if you do a certain sequence, you instead of riding off in a boat like after you finish the mission, you jump on top of a dolphin and ride off on a dolphin. So there's little stupid things like that within Hitman that just make me love it even more. And I like putting on all the different disguises. You can poison people. You can do this. You can do that. So that is why Hitman would be my top pick of the year because I have played some of the other maps and all that, but they just put everything together into one package. And if you already had it, then all you were going to get was what you just didn't have, and some of the DLCs you'd get them at a cheaper price than you would having to pay full regular price. And so yeah, that's why I thought that's for me. Hitman World of Assassination is my top pick of this year for me. Would be that. Um, you guys got any honorable mentions of just random stuff you guys been playing?
uh, for me, it's an honorable mention because I haven't played it that much, and honestly, I don't remember if it came out this year because I bought it late. I didn't pre-order it or anything, but it's Like a Dragon Ishin or Yakuza
Oh,
Ishin.
oh,
Oh,
Um,
that's really
okay.
good.
yeah,
I believe
I
it was this year.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, I definitely got it this year. I remember getting it this year, but I just for the life of me could not remember like when it actually launched because I don't remember buying it at launch. So I wasn't sure. But yeah, I was able to pick that up and play a little. I think I got it before I got my PS5. No, wait, I had my PS5 already, but like I was already playing something else, and I was like, I will get to you. Just hold tight, and I will play you. But I mean, then Baldur's Gate happened, and it was
yep. Baldur's Gate.
uh,
like,
yeah, I played Ishin as well. I don't remember getting too far in it, but I did enjoy what I played. For me, my honorable mention would be Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Ooh,
Um, I think I'm barely in like World Two, but it's fun. It's great. That's like it's just fun. Everyone's like with these other games, it's like, oh, I'll play it because the graphics are amazing. Oh, I'll play it because like the story is so good. Whereas this one's like, dude, just play it because it's fun.
I have two honorable mentions, real quick. The first one's going to be, and of course they haven't been released this year. These are older games. It's going to be actually kind of old games. Is Ghost Recon Wildlands was a lot of fun, and that's something that I remember saying that I don't remember any games doing open combat, but that is like one that does open combat. Like you get to choose your missions, and then you can do them however you feel, like stealth, going in, balls to the wall, whatever. The other honorable mention would be Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I started playing it because I was going to prepare myself for Mirage because they said it was going back to kind of like the older, like, Assassin's Creed games. Even though that wasn't necessarily what Syndicate was, but I think Syndicate was somewhat underrated. It had a lot of cool concepts and a lot of cool things that you could do. And the
Mm-hmm.
probably you were supposed to be able to choose between the guy between the twins, and honestly, the better assassin is the sister, because I think when you play
Yeah.
when you play the sister, like as long as you're crouched down and don't move, she goes invisible. I was like, that's badass. And also, I
Mm-hmm.
like the look. It's like Victorian era England. So I like the look. He's got some real. They got each got some really cool weapons, and the designs of the weapons are really cool. And also, their attire is really cool too as well. So yeah, those are my two like honorable mentions. Like they're again old games, but I finally got a chance to play them this year, and I thought they were great. And kind of underrated. I think they got more hate. Well, at least Big Syndicate got more hate than it really should have. Because even then, I know some of the hate came from you have to take over territory, and then that means you have to keep up with gangs and all this stuff. But those gangs do add a nice element to it as well, to be more stealthy and think about your movements. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I liked about that one. So yeah,
Yeah, you're not alone in thinking it was underrated. I've heard
yeah, yeah. I
that
think
said a lot.
and also it's got like that steampunk where you got like a fucking grappling Batman grappling hook, and I was like, man, that's fucking cool. That should have been in all the games.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool as shit. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for me. But yeah, those are mine.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right. We
All
will,
right.
and when on that note, we will wrap things up here again. Let us know in the comments what are the top games y'all played this year. It doesn't have to be necessarily a game that came out this year. Just what are the top games that you played this year? Let us know in the comments. And with that, we will see you all on the next one.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.